What's happening, fellas? How we doing tonight?
Doing real good. How you doing?
Hi, how are ya?
Right on.
As you can see, we have a special guest here tonight. Central part of the screen there, decked out in full cosplay. We got Greg. Welcome back to Roleplaying Unlimited Out of Character Wednesday evening. As we mentioned in the chat log there, and as we can see here, we have a very special guest here, Greg, who is a good friend of Evil Dawn's and friend of the show. With me, as always, of course, Evil Dawn and J-Man himself. How we doing tonight, fellas?
Hey, doing really good. Gonna be great. Loving the show. It's gonna be awesome interviewing this guy right over here. We worked together in Evil Dead the Musical. We've worked together in Puppet Theater. And, he's an amazing performer, and I just can't wait to get into some of these really cool questions.
Sweet.
Yeah, I look forward to having this interview going on. I think we will learn a lot and have some good stories out of it, so it should be a good time.
Heck
And-
yeah.
I'm looking forward to taking this mask off. I'm going to do it right now, in fact.
It can be tricky. I'm still trying to figure out how to do the Boba Fett helmet with the headset or something in that variation. Welcome, Raven, Jason from our usual Out of Character and Tuesday Night Gaming cast, chilling in the stream chat tonight. How you doing tonight, brother? Now, with this being Dawn's personal friend, they've worked together on a lot of occasions. What do we got here? We got a subscription. Evil Dawn subscribing with the Prime. Thank you so much for the streak, brother. Whoop.
Hey, no problem. My favorite show, of course, obviously, because I'm in it.
Gotta love it, gotta love it. I figure I'm going to pass the ball off onto you here, Dawn, and kind of let you two get the conversation going, talking about Evil Dead the Musical, the Bard's Bar, all the different ways that you guys work together in the Puppet Theater. And we're going to let the conversation just kind of go free from there. I know that Hans Lives D&D is planning on jumping in at some point, and Raven here as well, so let's see what's up.
All right, thank you very much. Hey, Greg. First of all, how did you get started with Evil Dead the Musical?
First, thanks, guys, for having me on. Can you hear me? Everyone
Absolutely.
okay?
Yeah,
Thanks
Okay.
for coming.
Okay, good. I've been a huge Evil Dead fan for about 30 years. Short story long, I was working radio in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and our radio station sponsored a midnight show of Army of Darkness.
Oh.
This is around 1992. And I had not seen any of the other Evil Dead films. And I went to see, and I had to represent the station at the midnight movie. So I sat through Army of Darkness, saw it on the big screen. Like I said, this was 1992. And when I got back to the station Monday morning, my morning show partner asked me, "So how was that midnight movie?" I said, "That was so screwed up, I didn't even get it." And but then about a year after that, my daughter brought home the first two movies on VHS, and I sat down and watched them. I'm like, "Oh, now I get it. Now I get it." And fast forward to around 2000, 2001, 2002, whenever they brought the musical to off Broadway, and some friends of mine went to see it, and they mentioned that, they're like, "You got to see it. You got to go see this." Well, it closed. It ran for 3 months, 4 months, something like that. And when I told my friends I was coming back to Vegas, they said, "There's a production of Evil Dead the Musical running at Planet Hollywood. You've got to go see it, or even better yet, try to get in it. try to get into it." And so I saw on Facebook they've got a local Las Vegas auditions page, and I saw that they were looking for people. And the average age, late 20s, early 30s. I'm thinking well, I don't know, what, about anything I could do, probably be a shemp. That would probably be the best thing I could do is be a shemp guy my age. At the time, I was in my late 50s, and so I'm like, yeah, I guess I could be a shemp. And then, well, I auditioned and I got offered the role of Jake, which I did for 4.5 years.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's yeah. I ended up. I think I have. Well, Sean Slaughter from our show has the world's record for the most performances, having acted in the most performances. I have the world's record for being Jake the most times. So,
What is your favorite thing about the character Jake?
he has no filter. He has no filter. He just says whatever comes to mind. And he's ornery, he's cantankerous, and when it comes down to brass tacks, he runs away and screams like a little girl whenever there's any real danger going on. But seriously, can I swear?
Absolutely.
Yes, you can.
Okay, yeah, because he's he's got his song "Good Old Reliable Jake," but like I will throw things out to the audience all the time, and will you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to sing a song here, or it's just Jake. Jake is great in that he has the ability to break the fourth wall and talk right to the audience, and just say whatever's on his mind.
Well, we performed a lot of the Evil Dead shows together,
Yes.
Especially at Tommy Wynn Theater. And so I got to see you do a lot of shenanigans, but there was also probably a lot of shenanigans that happened that I didn't see. What was your favorite shenanigans during the show?
Oh, my all-time favorite one. I think you were there for this. My all-time favorite one is when we did the Saturday Night Live Chippendales. Were you there for that, Don? You were there?
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah, well, Chris Weidman, who was playing Ash, took a week off, and we got together in the dressing room and decided that Chris's first night back, we were going to do this, and we weren't going to tell him that we were going to do it. I don't know if you're familiar with the show. At the end, see, due to copyright and licensing restrictions, the only part of Army of Darkness they were actually able to use was the S-Mart at the end, where he's explaining, and that was how I saved the universe.
Right.
And then it turns into a big production number. Well, at that particular moment, two of the other characters, Rob Harpist, who was playing Evil Ed, and Todd Kincaid, who was playing Scotty, looked at each other, and they ripped their costumes off, and they were wearing the tuxedo shirts with the no arms, and the tuxedo pants. And I had downloaded the Working for the Weekend and gave it to our sound guy, and they just went right into that.
Oh man!
And Rob, of course, had real abs. Tad is built like us, and he had the word abs written on his stomach. And it was great. It was great. Chris had no idea it was coming. And I think he was, by the time they were finished, he was in tears. I'm pretty sure. There's a video of it out there somewhere. I think Jennifer Billett recorded it on her phone or something like that. Because I know there's a video out there. I've seen it.
Is it up on YouTube, maybe?
Possibly. If you go on YouTube and do a search for Evil Dead Las Vegas, it might pop up. Yeah.
Heck yeah! If we find that, we gotta throw it up on our social media pages.
Oh yeah. It's Chris. I'm sure Chris was close to tears when it was finished. And then Rob tried to hump me during the whole thing too, which was also fun.
That's one of the best parts of stage theater. It's been 2 decades plus since I've even been involved in any of that stuff, but just the improv nature of it that kind of comes and goes as you're just in the moment. Those can be some of the best moments overall.
Oh yeah, and we improv the shit out of that show. We actually got told to stop improvising so much because the show was running close to 2 hours, and it wasn't supposed to.
Oh shit.
Did you also have an improv background before you started the show?
Yes. I have an improv, or I was part of an improv group in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and when did we? We were around for about 8 or 9 years, and we did a lot of local Scranton-based stuff, because like you're doing improv in front of audiences, and they'll ask for things, and somebody will yell potato pancakes, and you'll have to do a whole thing about somebody's grandma's potato pancakes, or all the stuff that was native to the Scranton and Wilkes-Barre and northeastern Pennsylvania. Particularly the way they talk up there. We actually did a whole sketch based around the whole. Now I'm going to go into another long story. When I first moved to Scranton, my neighbor lady comes out and she's talking to me. I'm bringing stuff in the house, and she comes out and she starts talking to me, and she's got this real heavy dialect. I can't tell if it's Irish or if it's Polish or a combination of both. As I later came to learn, it's the actual way that people speak in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Huh. She's like, "Oh, my husband just died. We ought to take him up to corpse house." What? Oh, my husband just died. Your husband? My husband. I was married to him for 50 years. Oh, your husband? Yeah, my husband. And you took him where?
His father, not his farger.
Yes. No, father and mother. And then where'd you take him to corpse house? Corpse house? Mortuary. Yeah, up to corpse house. And I walked in and my wife goes, "Who is that?" I said, "That's our neighbor, Mrs. Finney." "Oh, what'd she say?" "I have no fucking idea." And so we decided that we had to do a sketch about the dialect, and we made it like a couple who had just moved to northeastern Pennsylvania. You're here to learn, and they have to take a NEPA as a second language course. They say, "You're here to learn the official dialect of northeastern Pennsylvania." And it's got 500,000 views on YouTube.
Awesome. It's almost like Justin's character in the Agent Orange campaign. Half the time when he's talking, I'm just like, what? What did he say? Well, they're nodding along, so I guess we'll go with it.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's but that improv group was around for about 8 years, and so yeah, that's my improv background.
Now, I know a little bit, because again, we've worked together for a while, and I love this one story that you told me about a famous local celebrity that you met in a bar, and you taught him an unusual talent.
Oh.
Can you tell us that story?
Yes. I'm from Montana originally. See, here's my shirt. Okay. I'm from Montana originally. And some friends of mine from Montana were coming down to visit. And they're like, "Hey, we're down at the Four Queens. Come on, man." And this was like 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, "Guys, I can't. We just hired a bunch of new kids for Evil Dead, and I have to go rehearse them." Because I was also one of the artistic directors. And I said, "I'll meet you down there when I get done." So I made it a quick rehearsal. I wrapped it up real fast. And I came home, showered, put on my Montana football jersey. And then I went down to the Four Queens, and they were gone. They had been drinking for 8 straight hours. The guy's wife fell asleep. She did the face plant into her French fries. She just right ketchup all over her face and shit. And so it's like he said, "We're gonna go up to the room." Sorry, man, I gotta go. Well, I was ready to go. I was pissed. So I get in the car and I'm coming home, and we've got a neighborhood pub. So I walk into the neighborhood pub, and here's this biker-looking guy sitting there. He's drinking Jack Daniels out of a tumbler, and he's playing poker on the bar. And he looks at me and goes, "You from Montana?" I said, "Yeah." "I'm from Montana too." "Where are you from?" "Great Falls." "No, I'm from Butte." And then we started talking about Montana stuff. There's a guy in Butte that makes pork chop sandwiches, and I said, "Hey, did you hear Pork Chop Johnny just died?" "No, Pork Chop Johnny did," doing all of that stuff. And well, what do you do? Well, I was a motorcycle rider in Butte, and we just kept going and going and going.
Right.
Finally, after about several drinks and in about 45 minutes, he goes, "Well, so you didn't make the connection, huh?" "Oh, what connection?" "I'm from Butte, Montana. I ride motorcycles. I race motorcycles." "Oh, Rob Knievel." It just hit me. And the poor guy is broke. I live out on Boulder Highway. He lives in a motor home park on Boulder Highway. He has no money. He has no money. Well, now he does, thanks to me. But he asked me what I did, and I said, "Well, I'm in Evil Dead the Musical." And he'd heard of the movies. He knew of the movies, but he didn't know of the show. "And I do puppet shows on the weekend." And he goes, "Tell me more about this puppet stuff." So I start talking to him. I'm like, "Well, we do this," and I had some pictures on my phone of the puppets. It was when we were doing the show out at Springs Preserve.
Oh, cool.
Don was involved in that show.
Nice.
And it was a great gig. Every Saturday and Sunday for about 5 months, we did shows for the kids out at Springs Preserve.
Oh, I love
Oh,
Springs
look at my
Preserve.
hair. Yeah. So I showed Rob some pictures, and a couple more minutes went by, and he said, "What would you think about this? A puppet show with the first half would be my dad dressed up in his jumpsuit and his cape, with the cane, with the diamond on the top of it, and him just yelling at me and hitting me with the cane all the time. And then the second half of the show would be him before he died, with the Hawaiian shirt and the oxygen tank and the really thick glasses. And that's where we talk about, other stuff." And I'm like, it could work. I've seen stupider things, And so I helped him make a show. He brought the puppets in. He just walked into the bar one night with young Evil on this hand and old Evil on this hand, and they were talking to each other, and they were yelling at him, and he was entertaining everybody in the bar with them. And now I guess he made enough so that he could go back. He was performing. A friend of his has an Indian casino up in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
And he's performing it up there, and he's making extra bucks like they do at the cons, selling autographs, doing photo ops. And he was able to move out of the mobile home park, and I think he went back up to Montana. So you're welcome, Rob.
Awesome, man. That's a great story.
Yeah. So far as I know, that's what's going on.
Justin, you have any questions?
He's frozen up.
He does that sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes he goes into Nintendo 64 mode, as I call it, as well, where he just looks all pixelated like he's in a late 80s video game.
I can't help it. I don't understand what happened.
Yeah, I just wish we could trigger the sound effect to go off and start playing the Super Mario theme with that do-do-do-do-do-do, and you're just...
Yeah, I did have a question. Talking about like all the different moments and stuff with the musical. What's like the strangest moment you ever had?
I actually knocked myself unconscious one night. This was before Don.
Oh, shit.
This is before Don joined the show. We had to. One of the big things in the original film is when Ash's sister Cheryl gets raped by trees, right? And we did a comic version of the tree rape in the show, where like we all dressed up as trees.
Oh wow!
And we gathered around her and acted, did the whole whoa ah oh ah, I'm like, and then the lights, she runs away and the lights come up and one of the trees is bent over and another guy is yeah whoops, and then we turn around and run after her. So we at the theater we were at before Tommy Wind, we had to run through the curtains, and I ran through the curtains, and I hit the counter where that's in the cabin in the woods, and I went flying over the counter. I hit the back wall and knocked myself unconscious. And I could see the curtain opening, but I couldn't move.
Huh.
And I'm looking at, and the girl playing Shelley is sitting in the chair, and she leans over to me and goes, "Jesus Christ, Greg, are you okay?" And I'm just like, and our stage manager's off stage going like this, crawl, crawl, crawl. So I did an army crawl on my elbows off stage. And he grabbed me and pulled me off before the curtain was all the way open. But yeah, that's the strangest thing. That and the people from Scotland.
Huh.
We had a group from Scotland that came over every Christmas. And we knew they were there because they were drunk. They were in the splatter zone. And every so often they would stand up and go, "Freedom!"
Now, perhaps, as importantly, after you were knocked unconscious from the stage dive there, were you good? Were you recovered sufficiently to go back on stage when your next scene was up? Or were you already done with your scenes at that point?
Oh, no, that was my first one. That was first one of the night. Because a bunch of us were the trees, and then I ran off and took my tree suit off and put on my Jake suit. So I still had to do the whole rest of the show as Jake. But,
oh, man.
Yeah, I was okay. It took me a couple of minutes to just, I had to sit there and, like Bugs Bunny does in the cartoons. But for the most part, yeah, I was good.
From our chat, Jason puts in, what other stage productions have you been in?
There's another 10 minutes. Well, you
That's
name
what's
it.
up.
I've done it, probably. Well, I refused to do Rodgers and Hammerstein, but a friend of mine got me to do a production he was directing of Sound of Music, simply because he promised to put more Nazis into it. And so he did. During the scenes, he had screens up on either side of the stage where he was showing Nazi propaganda films from World War II.
Oh, shit.
And so that's the only way he could get me to do Sound of Music. But, oh, geez. Hello, Dolly.
Yowie wowie, we got Hans Loves D&D doing the raid with 15 people. Welcome. Thanks for joining the show
my
tonight.
God. 15? I don't even know that many people. But yeah, hello, Dolly. You name a musical, I've done it. I did Max Bialystock in The Producers. I was Inspector Kemp in Young Frankenstein. I've done just about every Neil Simon play you can think of. I've been at this. I'm 66 now. I've been at this since I was 14. Well, actually, since I was 5, I was the only kid who could read in our kindergarten class, and so they made me the narrator in the class play.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
just a quick aside. We had a whole bunch of people just jump onto the channel.
Yay!
And just to reintroduce, this is Greg Corin. He's local Las Vegas. He's been in Evil Dead the Musical with me. We've also done puppet theater together. And we haven't even gone into Bards at the Bar and a lot of other things. We were talking Evil Dead the Musical earlier, so if you have a chance to watch the replay, you can see that earlier part of the interview. But speaking of bards at the bar, oh, actually, let me do this quick question from Jason. Also, do you make your own marionettes?
No, these aren't marionettes. These are puppets, Muppets. And I don't know how to make them. However, John Tomasello, the guy who runs the puppet studio, does. He just made an awesome Dracula. We're doing a puppet show at the LGBTQ Center.
Okay.
It's going to be a combination trunk or treat puppet show outside in the parking lot. And he made an awesome looking Dracula for that. And we've also got a bunch of dragons that he made for Pirate Fest. We did a dragon show for Pirate Fest, and these dragons are fantastic. And John makes all of that, but he runs a puppet camp on Saturday mornings, where if you want to, you can come in and build your own puppets. I got my grandsons and their Cub Scout pack in there a couple of months ago, and they spent the whole Saturday morning making little hand puppets, and he showed them how to do all this stuff, and he had a little hand puppet show for them to do and everything.
Nice.
And it's great. So that's John's thing.
We love plugging our friends and everything like that. So where can you find John Tomasello's store to get more information on puppets and how to become part of puppet shows?
Well, John is at the Boulevard Mall here in Las Vegas on Maryland Parkway. I've been around long enough, so I remember when the Boulevard Mall was the only mall in Las Vegas.
Right.
And now it's kind of undergoing a renaissance. John is in the back by the Galaxy movie theaters and the El Mercado, which is a new area that they opened up for. It's kind of like a bunch of little street vendors. So he's back there, back in the corner there. There's a comic book shop there too. They're right next door to each other. So he's back in the back corner of the Boulevard Mall.
And well, I mentioned Bards at the Bar. How did that come to be?
Oh, well, I managed to get my degree in theater without doing any Shakespeare, which is a very, it happens.
Wow.
It doesn't happen that much, but it happens, and I'm walking proof. I came to Shakespeare in my 40s, and I had a friend who was he was an Anglophile and a real Shakespeare nut, and he got me into doing it. And when I came to Las Vegas, I got involved with the Shakespeare Institute of Nevada, or SIN, S-I-N.
Okay.
And for Sin City, right? And when he left, the guy that was running it retired. He brought a bunch of us together, and he said, I'm old, I'm retiring, I'm moving to the village in Sicily where my mother grew up. I'm leaving the Institute in your hands. Don't fuck it up. And the first thing we did was fuck it up. And so, but we missed all the deadlines for all the grants, and we had absolutely no operating capital at all. I mean, we're a 501c3, so that money is there, but we missed all the deadlines, and so we faced going like a whole year without it. And so I thought of putting together a bunch of these little short scenes. We had what we called Taste of Shakespeare, little 15-20 minute scenes or compilations from plays that we did in middle schools and high schools. And so I put 3 of those together for Valentine's Day. Each of them ended with a kiss for Valentine's Day. It was the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet, and they kiss.
Okay.
And then the dungeon scene from Taming of the Shrew, where they kiss at the end. And then the ballroom scene from Much Ado, where, again, they kiss at the end. So I shopped that around town, and somebody said, why don't you why don't you take it to the lodge there, the Inn at Mount Charleston, the place that just burnt down? They said, why don't you take it up there? We did a show up there a couple of years ago, and they loved us. Oh, okay. So I called the manager, and he said, what group are you with? Shakespeare Institute of Nevada. And why are you calling me? Well, I was told that the group was up there a couple of years ago, and somebody there expressed a wish for us to come back. Well, I don't know who that could have been. I've been here for 16 years. I've never heard of you or your group, and quite frankly, you wouldn't fit in with what we do here. And he hung up on me.
Oh, God.
I didn't even get a chance to tell him to go fuck himself. And so now I'm mad. And Bart at the Bar is about to be born out of anger and frustration. There was a couple sisters downtown who owned a kind of an artsy bar, and they sponsored plays, or they had plays in there. They had, burlesque performances, you name it. They did it in there. So I went to talk to them. I said, can we do this here? And they said, yeah, sure. Let's make an arrangement. We keep the bar. You charge at the door. You keep the door. We keep the bar. We do it on Sunday when there's nobody in here. It's a slow day. And we put together that initial one went over very well. And I got Big, our friend Big Sexy, to come in. He's an Elvis impersonator.
Okay.
And I got him to come in and marry Kate and Petruchio at the end of the Taming of the Shrew scene. So here's these two. One of them is wearing a Jaguar patterned pimp coat, and Big Sexy is this big Elvis impersonator. So y'all take this fine ass looking woman to be your lawfully wedded, and all right, y'all may kiss, and it was.
Do
a big
you
hit.
promise to love her tender?
Yeah. No, don't get all shook up. And don't go to bed with suspicious minds.
Oh, man, that's great.
And so that went over, and they said, great, when's the next one? And I figured, well, heck, I just thought we'd be doing this one. So my big dream was to do Midsummer Night's Dream on Midsummer's Night, which we did. Don was there for that, I think. And we did one every Sunday, or the second Sunday of every month. We were there for 2 years. And then COVID, lowered the boom. And during COVID, this particular bar changed direction, and they're not doing live entertainment anymore. So we're kind of out there trying to find a new foothold. Maybe we'll have to reinvent ourselves. But we just did 2 weeks ago. We just did a gender swapped version of Taming of the Shrew in a gay bar. All of the male roles were played by females. All the female roles were played by males.
Oh, nice.
Except for I played Senor Baptista, or as I called him, Senor Dave Batista, and who is Kate's, or in this case, Kit's father, who is the put upon dad who has to marry off his kids. And so that's the only role that didn't get swapped, and I played that. But all of the old male suitors were Real Housewives of Verona, and all of the young girls were handsome young studs, and there were a lot of, since we did it in a gay bar, there were a lot of drag queens around too. So it was a lot of fun.
Now, if somebody wanted to get involved with Bards at the Bar, how could they do that?
Well, basically, what we do is we go online, and we go to the audition pages on the internet, or on Facebook, and whenever we're having auditions, then we put them up there, and we'll usually take a whole day and set it aside and see everybody who comes in to audition. it having not done Shakespeare before, if you've never done Shakespeare before, that's not a problem, because our approach to it is so different. You know, we try to contemporize everything, so it's not, you know, partially so people aren't afraid, and also we pared things down because the bar crowd that we primarily perform for, you know, they're not going to sit still for a whole Shakespeare play, and they're not going to sit still, you know, if it gets too boring or if they can't understand what's being said. So, you know, we contemporize a lot of it. I mean, the Shakespeare prose is still there, but it's not way above everyone's head.
Seems almost mandatory these days since people's attention spans have just gotten to be about this big.
Oh yeah. Everyone now has the attention span of an infant. So
if that.
Yeah. So that's, and it like I said, it went over fairly well until COVID, and now we're just trying to kind of, I don't know, we may have to reinvent ourselves a little bit.
Now, I also know for a fact that you performed in a local burlesque show recently. And
Yes.
Would you like to say talk to us about that? Just a little aside here. I'm not bitter anymore. I auditioned to be part of that show, to be part of that comedy team, and I wasn't selected. But the cast that they did select is absolutely fabulous. They are, you know, amazing performers. So I don't feel slighted in the bit, because everyone who was chosen for that was incredibly, incredibly talented, especially you, sir. So can you tell some stories about that?
Well, Don, first of all, as Gabriel said, if we can find, if this becomes a regular thing and we can find a way to get you in, you know, we'll do it. But what this was old school burlesque, and it was really impressive the way it came together. Now, everyone, you know, you go on these websites and you look at the pictures of old Las Vegas in the 50s and 60s and even the early 70s. And there's all these old school burlesque shows, you know, with they weren't strippers. They did a strip tease. You know, they didn't go all the way down. Yeah, they had pasties over their nipples. They wore a G-string, so you couldn't see the private parts. They don't bear everything like they do these days. And so this lady, Lolita Hayes, grew up watching these shows, has always wanted to do them, has done some on her own, but she wanted to put a real old school burlesque show up on stage in an old school Las Vegas showroom. And she found the showroom at the Plaza Hotel downtown on Fremont Street, the second oldest showroom in Las Vegas, currently in Las Vegas. There were older showrooms, but they all got blown up. So right now, the two oldest showrooms in Las Vegas are the one at the Plaza and the one at the Westgate, formerly the Hilton, formerly the International, which is where Elvis performed. And so she got us in there, and it really is a great old school Vegas showroom with the big stage and the chandelier and the booths, you know, like, you know, the VIPs sat in the booths, you know, the mafia guys would come in and slip the maitre d' a $20 bill, and he'd take them right over and seat them in one of the booths, you know. And second of all, she put together the show just like an old burlesque show. You had the girls, you had they had a guy doing magic. They had a guy who stood on chairs and juggled. They had an MC who, I think Don would have been a better MC than this guy, but what do I know? And then they had the comedy, you know, the bananas, the top banana, the second banana, and the third and the fourth banana, and who came out and did the skits. and that was us. That was me, and 3 of the 4 bananas were Evil Dead alumni. There was me, who played Jake, Mickey Rourke, who played Scotty, and Jake, I think, and Sean Slaughter, who was a Shemp, and he also played Evil Ed, and he was even Jake once. And then we had Gabe Gentile, who he was like the top banana was the straight man. That was Mickey. He was like Gabe was the second banana, and he kind of drove the skits. He was like the unofficial assistant director.
Okay.
Who like held everything together backstage, and made sure we all got on and off when we had to, and all that. That's what the second banana does.
Okay.
But it was a ball. I mean, even the skits were classic burlesque skits that Lolita had found online. We did the one with the rubber balloons. Did we do that at auditions? Rubber balloons.
No, we didn't do that one.
Oh well, it's full of double entendres, and the top banana, Mickey, comes out and he tries to sing a song, and we keep interrupting him. And Gabe comes on stage, rubber balloons, get your rubber balloons, and then Gabe leaves, and then Sean comes out and starts pounding nails into the floor, and then he leaves, and then I come out, and it ends with me saying, one of the girls passed out backstage. What should I do? And Mickey goes, well, you should try to. And then Gabe walks right on stage. Rubber balloons.
What?
And we had this lady. She was an old school burlesque dancer. Her name was Tiffany Carter, I think.
Okay.
But she's venerable. I'm going to say she's probably in her late 70s, and she's still doing this.
Oh, nice.
But she came up to us backstage, and she goes, I haven't seen that rubber balloon sketch in 40 years. We did it in Boston 40 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is authentic. It was a great experience. Poor Lolita put all of her own personal money into it, and she's completely broke now, so she needs a sugar daddy. But I hope it gets picked up, because it was a great show. It got a good response the one night. It was a one night only deal, and they sold about 2/3 of the house.
Wow.
But it just wasn't enough to keep it going. It wasn't enough of a return to keep it going.
It's a
But,
tough
I think it's
business for
timing.
sure.
Mhm. What?
No, go ahead, Dan.
I was just saying it's a tough business for sure.
It is, especially now.
Yeah,
It's gotten tougher,
right.
but it's coming back. I'm hoping somebody somewhere down the line heard about it or saw it, and we'll get another shot. In which case, I'll suggest they hire Don to be the MC, because this other guy Don was better.
Are you guys planning on bringing either Bards at the Bar or the puppet shows back to Pirate Fest next year, which is going to happen in March
Pirate
instead
Fest.
of in April?
Oh heavens! I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody yet. I'm going to have to get on that. I kind of think. Well, John's a Pirate Fest mainstay. He's there every year, and he's got his own little pirate character. And in fact, this year he made a puppet of himself in his pirate character, specifically for Pirate Fest.
Oh.
So yeah, I think we're gonna have the puppets there, because John's a mainstay there. He's a regular at Pirate Fest. So yeah, but I have to get on him about the Shakespeare group.
I can also have some hookups for you too. So
Okay,
I'll
good.
make sure I get that taken care of.
Good.
and such.
Just
we
kind
didn't.
of Just kind of backtracking a little bit to when you were talking about the old school Vegas showrooms. Raven is posting here in our chat log about the El Cortez. Did they have a showroom?
I'm trying to think about it. I used to go. I've been here since 1977.
Okay.
And one of my next door neighbors, who I kind of had a brief tete-a-tete with, She was a Keno girl at the El Cortez, and I went down. This was in like 78, 79. I went down to pick her up after work a couple times. And I remember sitting at the bar and having a few drinks.
By the old Prime Rib Room?
Yeah. But I think there was a showroom there. I know it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
But
I
I
can't
think
remember
there
the
was-
last time I was on that property.
Yeah, it was. I think it. I kind of think that there was one there, but it's not there anymore. I know
Okay.
the Four Queens. They still have their showroom, and there's still
Okay.
the showroom at Binion's, but they're not using it.
Oh, very cool, Jason.
Yeah, that's all I can think about downtown. Oh, there's one at the D, but it's not a very good one.
Okay. By the way, guys, if any of you watching, on the stream want to ask Greg any questions, he can't see the chat, but we can, so we can translate and send your questions over to him.
I can't see anything. I'm old.
Yeah, like I know Hans had some interest in the Evil Dead the Musical section of the Q&A, which we had actually just passed over by the time he jumped in with the raid, but there's no reason we can't entertain some of your questions that you may have.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, feel free. Ask
Yeah,
away.
'cause Evil Dead was a lot of fun. It was one of the most fun times that I've had on stage, was being part of that group. And when they say that your show people are family, I mean, us Evil Dead people are truly a family.
Oh yeah, we still hang out. We still hang out and find stuff to do together.
Right.
Yeah. And we spent more time with our Evil Dead cast than we did with our actual families too, so.
Well, I don't know. Gail was working backstage. My wife, Gail, was
Oh,
working
yeah.
backstage, so I got to spend time with her anyway.
Well, yeah, and Chris and Stephanie, they were a couple, and I'm trying to think of who else. I think you guys were the only couples. But yeah, well, most of us here don't have any families anyway, so you kind of gravitate towards a group that you feel comfortable around, and that's the way we were.
Yeah, Hans Loves D&D posted, that show was the last show Tony DeVale and him saw together when he was alive.
Really? Well, see, I just missed it with Tony. I wasn't in it when Tony was reviewing shows. In fact, the first show that I did when I came back to Vegas, I moved here in '77. I got my theater degree from Montana State, and my brother was a boss at Caesar's Palace, and he called me up and he said, "Congratulations, big shot. You just got a theater degree from an agricultural school. What the fuck are you going to do with it in Montana?" And I said, I never gave that any thought. So I ended up here. And then after about 6 years, I went back to Montana. Then I went to Scranton. Then I came back here. And the first show that I did back here was in fact, it was the end of when Tony was reviewing. He had the choice to review our show and another show, and he went to review the other show. So I never got a chance to be run over the coals by Tony, which I wish I would have. Just had the privilege of being reviewed by him.
Justin, do you have anything on this?
Bueller?
I was just kind of listening, kind of lost in the story. I didn't really have any questions at the moment.
For myself, I would say, given the time of the year that we intentionally scheduled this for, it's coming up on the Halloween season. We're talking about Evil Dead the Musical. But in that Halloween season vein, what does a typical Greg Halloween celebration look like? Do you do the haunted house stuff with Dawn? Do you have your own kind of thing going on?
Well, I have done haunted houses before, and the last haunted house gig I did was in Scranton. I was the crazy coroner, where they came into the room, and I was doing an autopsy on a body, but I had all this food hidden inside the body cavity, like leftover hamburger
Some
helper
appropriate music.
and pizza, and you name it. Leftover macaroni and cheese, and I'm just the whole time that I'm dissecting the body, I'm just reaching my hand in, pulling food out, and didn't expect to find that in there. And oh look, how many licks does it take to get to the middle of a Tootsie Pop? And crazy stuff like that. And then now that my grandkids are old enough, I take them. I have 10 grandkids, and people are really surprised. One, that I have any at all, and two, that I have that many. And most of them are young, so I take them around to haunted houses and trick or treating and all of that stuff.
Fun.
And but there was that in between time where I was doing Evil Dead and drinking a lot.
And also, what kind of scary movies get you? So do you have any of those scary movies that you can't watch more than once because it gives you nightmares?
My first wedding video, that's kind of scary. No, I like the psychological ones. I don't like the gore. I get really bored with gore. It's like I like the first Saw movie, but then that was it. The rest of them after that, I'm just like. I like all three. I like psychological stuff. I like comedy stuff.
Okay.
Like horror comedies. I just watched. And when we were with Evil Dead, we got sent to every horror movie premiere in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Whether it was a big release or one of these little local indie films that was made here. And I have to say that all of those, not 90% of them, I hated. I didn't like.
Now, did you see The Dead Don't Die?
Yes. I liked it.
Oh, God! I never shy away from talking trash about that movie at any given opportunity. I've yet to find somebody who thought it was good, so that's crazy.
Well, the handful of edibles I ate before I walked in might have had something to do with it.
All right.
Yep, that's helpful.
Yeah, there were a couple of us like, okay.
Yeah, those didn't even help me with the movie. I was still like, man, I wasted my edible high on this. Come on.
But I just watched Midnight Mass on Netflix. I like that.
Oh, okay. Did you see that new one, Veronica, that they're talking about? It's supposed to be so scary, like only so many people have been able to sit through it.
No, I'm scared to watch that.
Oh,
just because
okay.
of that. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I want. Do I want to put myself through that? But I like. What was it? Well, like I said, Midnight Mass. I liked. Trying to think of what else I watched that I liked.
What's up, Justifies?
I can't nail these things right off the top of my head. Like half hour from now, I'll be going like, oh wait, why didn't I do? Yeah, I like that one. Oh, why didn't I mention it? Son of a bitch, I didn't get that one either. But I like the psychological horror. I don't like the jump scare, the gore,
right? That
sort of stuff.
There's a lot of topics we haven't even gotten into that can run like 2 or 3 more shows. Would you come back another time?
I'd love to.
Awesome.
I'd love to. Yeah, count me in. This is great.
This recent Monday, we do private Discord screenings of movies from my collection in our Discord server. And throughout October, we've been doing horror movies themes. A lot of zombie kind of stuff. This week, we did The Descent. Did you ever see that one?
Oh, yes. I like that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Ravencraft saw it for the first time, I believe, with us on Monday night, and he came away pretty satisfied as well.
Yeah,
that's a quality film.
I watched that with my daughter, and we both came to the conclusion it was a good little movie. We liked it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well put together.
And we liked, what else? Oh, we also watched Drag Me to Hell, and at the end of that, we both looked at each other and said, well, that was just another Evil Dead movie.
Very close similarities for sure.
But yeah, my daughter and I have very similar interests, so yeah. Oh, she's the one that told me to watch Rubber, the one about the possessed tire.
I have not heard about that one.
Yeah, it's this tire that's possessed by the devil, and it just rolls through the desert, killing people. And I'm like, I'm watching it, and I'm
Oh.
going, is this? What the fuck is this? What is?
See,
what
my
the
mind, my mind instantly went a different direction. I'm like, okay, so it's a tire on a car with 3 other tires. Is it in a perpetual battle against the 3 good tires? Like, no, I want to go this way. No, we're going this way.
No, this tire is possessed by the devil, and it keeps bouncing through
like
the
teeth.
desert, and it's just really fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah, tonight my wife is actually performing in Rocky Horror Picture Show
Yes.
over at Ellis Island, and she's playing Frank. And this is kind of like a retirement show for her because she's not going to be doing that anymore. But have you had experience with Rocky Horror Picture Show?
I actually did. I did not do any shadow casts, but I played Eddie/Dr. Scott in 2 actual live performances of the show back in Pennsylvania. It was cool. I mean, we had a live band on stage with us, so we could rip off of them. That's why I wish we'd had live music for Evil Dead, because we really could have had a ball with those guys. But we had a live band on stage with us during Rocky Horror Show, and we had plants in the audience that would yell stuff out.
Nice.
And
right?
every once in a while they'd catch us off guard, because if you're doing the shadow cast and that you're used to what people are going to yell, you're expecting what people are going to yell. Well, we had 2 episodes. A couple of our plants didn't show up, so we had one of our stage hands be a plant. Now here's this girl who is about 25 years old, Playboy Playmate material, double D's up top, really pretty, really cute, but she had this little girl voice. And the line, when the criminologist was talking about the clouds gathering around the Frankenstein place, heavy, dark, and pendulous. Well, the line that's supposed to be shouted in between there is, describe your balls! Heavy, dark, and pendulous. Well, no, we had to have her yelled at. So from back in the back of the audience, you heard, describe your balls! Which cracked me up. And then Dr. Scott is talking about Eddie. He fell in with a bad crowd. And then you pause so somebody can yell, and then you go, aliens. Well, one of our regular plants, when I paused after saying he fell in with a bad crowd, I heard him yell, the aristocrats!
Oh, jeez.
Which, Don gets it. I don't know if you other 2 guys do.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was so that doing the actual show is more fun because you don't know what people are going to do. I had a little co-star on stage one night. I'm in the wheelchair, and I've got my legs crossed. Right? Well, you can't see it, but I have my legs crossed here.
Okay.
And then I pull the blanket off, and Dr. Scott has these fishnet stockings on, fishnet pantyhose. Well, I was a big guy at the time. I was about 80 pounds heavier, and they couldn't find fishnets that fit me. One of the guys went to the porno store and bought a pair of fishnets that had the whole ass cut out.
Oh, gosh.
And so I put them on with nothing else underneath. Well, I had my legs crossed, and I pulled the blanket back, and it's heavy, dark, and pendulous under that. And I felt the draft. I'm like, oh shit, I have a co-star, and I pulled it back. Describe your balls.
Oh man, I thought you were going with he actually had to go to like Dick's Sporting Goods to get like an actual fishnet or something that they fashioned something out of.
That was going to be his next move.
It's awesome that you jumped in tonight, Greg, as a special guest. We enjoyed hearing all your stories about Evil Dead the musical.
Oh, thank you guys.
Bard's
Thank
Bar,
you so much.
Puppet Theater. Thank you, Evil Don, for bringing your friend on, and we look forward to having another one of these in the near future.
Call
Thank
me
you,
anytime.
J-Man, as well. And
Yeah,
Hans
thanks,
Loves
brother.
D&D, thank you so much for the raid. Ravencraft, thanks for being part of the chat right here. We do still have a raffle that we're going to do. And I have a feeling that if I ask Justin, do you have any dice nearby at hand? The answer is yes. Actually, it seems to be a maybe. Hey, it's a yes! Alright. So we're looking at, we've got 9 subscribers here eligible for the raffle. Of course, any of us who are part of the Roleplaying Unlimited crew, we take ourselves out of the raffle. We're not trying to win our own prizes or anything like that. I'm not certain how many of these subscribers actually live in America or Canada, which is our limited shipping zone at this point in time. But we're going to give it a go. Justin, if you got a D10 there and you wouldn't mind angling your camera in such a fashion, however best you can do, if not possible, that's cool too. Go ahead and roll that D10 and re-roll any zeros. Let me know what you get here. We do ship to Faerun, yes. Oh, here we go. Very official. I can't see it. What is that, a 5? I can't see it.
It's an 8.
Yeah, I didn't say it looks like an 8 to me.
Yeah, he said it's an 8.
It is number 8. Alrighty. We have the winner is A.M. Enatiala. Not even sure if I've ever spoken with them, but they are one of our subscribers, so I will be reaching out to them with the good news. And heck yeah. Any parting words here from you, my friends?
Well, thank you very much. This was fun. This was an honor, and I would love to come back anytime. Don
Love
knows
to
how
have
to find me.
Yep, we would definitely love to have you back. And yeah, I definitely know how to find you.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. Congratulations to the winner, and yeah, let's do this again sometime.
Ravencraft said it perfectly. So long, and thanks for all the fish. And with that, we will close it out with a hearty, are you with us? Have a great evening, everybody.
Everything good?